Hi guys, this is Reese and we're going to be reading the Crucible.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe, and if you like in the next 5 seconds, you have good luck for the next 7 years. And you get free V-Bucks.
From Reese.
From me.
Mrs. Underwood.
Mrs. Underwood.
I don't even know who that is.
Anyways, you just give us money and we'll send them out to them.
Yeah.
Page 135. Okay. Where we left off yesterday, we were about to get to a really heartfelt, emotional moment between...
Are you going to cry?
Not at this part.
Proctor and his wife.
Between John Proctor and his wife. They haven't
Seeing each other for 3 months.
seen each other for 3 months.
She's pregnant, he's going to
Elizabeth
die.
is pregnant. He's about to die.
So they're going to do the dirty before they die.
It's a very
Probably.
emotional moment, right? Why does Elizabeth get to talk to him today?
See if he'll confess.
To see if she can get him to confess. Okay, so everyone has left the room. We're in a dark jail cell. The sun is just starting to be an orange crease on the horizon. Alone, John Proctor walks to her and halts. It is as though they stood in a spinning world. It is beyond sorrow, above it. He reaches out his hand as though toward an embodiment not quite real. And as he touches her, a strange, soft sound, half laughter, half amazement, comes from his throat. He pats her hand. She covers his hand with hers. And then, weak, they both sit, facing each other.
The child.
It grows.
There's no word of the boys.
They're well. Rebecca Samuel keeps them.
Have you seen them?
I have not.
She catches a weakening in herself and downs it. So, remember somebody asked yesterday, what about their kids?
There
So,
was-
their kids have been staying with someone else for the last 3 months, since both of their parents are in jail. Okay?
You are a marvel, Elizabeth.
You have been tortured.
A
Pause. She will not let herself be drowned in the sea that threatens her.
they come from my life now.
I know it.
Pause. None have yet confessed.
There be many confessed.
Who are they?
There be 100 or more. They say Goody Ballard is one. Isaiah Goodkind is one. There be many.
Rebecca?
Not Rebecca. She is 1 foot in heaven now. Not may hurt her more.
And Giles?
You have not heard of it?
I hear nothing where I am kept.
Giles is dead.
He looks at her unbelievingly.
When were he hanged?
She says quietly, matter-of-factly,
He would not hanged. He would not answer a or nay to his
indictment.
indictment. For if he denied the charge, they'd hang him surely and auction out his property. So he stand mute and died Christian under the law. And so his sons will have his farm. It is law, for he could not be commended a wizard without he answered the
Indictment.
indictment
Indictment.
a or nay.
Then how does he die?
They press him, John.
Press?
Great stones they lay upon his chest until he played a or nay.
With a tender smile for the old man.
They say he gave them but 2 words. More weight, he says, and died.
Numbed, a thread to weave into his agony.
More weight.
It were a fearsome man, Giles Corey.
Okay, so, remember Giles Corey had been put in jail for contempt of court because he wouldn't give Danforth the names?
Yeah.
But they wanted those names, right? That's the whole thing. So what they did was they laid him on this big platform, and they got as big of rocks as men can carry, and one at a time they laid them on his chest and said, "Tell us the names." And he said, "More weight." They put another boulder on his chest, and they said, "Give us the names." And he said,
More weight.
"More weight," until he suffocated to death.
That's some way to go out.
Proctor, with great force of will. Oh, let me back. Why did he do that? Why did Giles Corey do that?
So his kids would have a farm.
If he refuses to answer, they can't take away his property, and his children can inherit the farm from him.
A nice guy. I can't believe I died though. That's kind of sad.
Proctor, with great force of will, but not quite looking at her,
I have been thinking I would confess to them.
she says nothing.
What say you if I give them that?
I cannot judge you, John.
Pause. Simply just a question.
What would you have me do?
As you will, I would have it.
Pause.
I want you living, John, that's sure.
Pauses, then with a flailing of hope.
Child black, how she confessed.
She will not.
Go ahead.
It is a pretense, Elizabeth.
What is?
I cannot mount the give it like a saint. It is a fraud. I am not that man.
She was silent.
My honesty is broken, Elizabeth. I am no good man. Nothing scored by giving them this lie that will not rotten on me for.
Okay, so the other people who are about to hang, well, not all of them, but the two other people that we know that are about to hang are Martha Corey and Rebecca Nurse. And what do we know about those two women?
They were very good.
They're very good. Like, literally have never violated the, what particular laws? The 10 Commandments. They never have. But John Proctor has. So what's one... What's he going to have to do? What's one lie? What's one lie compared to all the other sins he's committed? What's one lie? What will this one lie give him? Life. All of us are sitting here going,
Do it.
tell a lie, you idiot.
Two for the man.
Right? Like, does anybody think he should just not? Okay? Alright, Elizabeth?
And yet you have not confessed till now. That speak goodness in you.
Spite one keeps me silent. It is hard to give a lie to God.
Pause, and for the first time, he turns and looks directly at her.
I would have your forgiveness, Elizabeth.
It is not for you to give, John. I am.
I'd have you see some honesty in it. Let them that never lied down, died down to keep their souls. It is pretense from a vanity that will not blind God nor keep my children out of his name. What say you?
Upon a heaving sob that always threatens.
John, it come to naught that I should forgive you, if you will not forgive yourself.
Now he turns away a little in great agony.
It is not my soul, John, it is yours.
He stands as though in physical pain, slowly rising to his feet with a great immortal longing to find his answer. It is difficult to say, and she is on the verge of tears.
Only be sure of this, for I know it now. Whatever you will do, it is a good man does it.
He turns his doubting, searching gaze upon her.
I have read my heart this 3 months, John. I have sins of my own to count. It needs a cold life to pump a truth.
Okay, so this uncomfortable moment that we've gotten to still all goes back to the fact that John feels like he has never been
A good husband.
sort of another thing. What does he want from her?
Forgiveness.
Forgiveness. He feels like he hasn't ever been forgiven for the adultery. And now he's asking forgiveness for another crime, which is lying, when he's still caught up on that first lie of forgiveness.
What are you lying about?
No, he wants to lie. He kind of wants to do it. But remember, he said his wife is a good woman who has never told a lie, very upright citizen.
And then she put him in jail.
And her single lie in her life landed him where he is.
To be dead.
So, one thing that's hard for us to understand, because I don't judge me more horribly for saying this, but it's true for myself too. Most people in the world that we live in don't have strong enough commitment to their morals to not break them, right?
One of them.
Like, all of us I'm guessing most of us at least, agree that lying is bad, right? But
Depends on
have
the
we
lie.
done it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have
No, of
we
course not.
have we used God's name in vain?
No.
Many.
No.
Yeah. Have we honored our father and mother at every moment?
Oh, shut up.
Oh, never.
Please.
Probably not. Okay, so we have all, and we have other moral standards in our own personal belief system that we have probably violated. But in our minds, those violations are
Well,
minor, right? We don't feel like we have changed our soul, damaged our soul by breaking one of those morals. But back in 1620, people were committed
To Jesus Christ.
life or death to their moral code. It was the only thing, the only constant thing they had to hold on to. We don't have that. We have other things to hold on to,
Yeah,
like our phones
Fortnite.
and our steering wheels and
Fortnite.
other things, okay? Game controllers.
Because everyone was so close back then, and they tell each other everything.
Yeah, a bunch of snakes.
Yeah, just
Okay.
much different world. Okay, so now Elizabeth is saying, listen, these last 3 months I've been alone without you, and I've been thinking maybe your adultery was
Her fault.
kind of my fault, you know, like
She wasn't putting out.
Exactly. She basically admits that right there. But John
We laugh
Proctor
about it.
says,
Enough.
now pouring out her heart.
better you should know me.
I will not hear it. I know you.
I take my sins upon you, John.
No, I take my own.
John, I counted myself so plain, so poorly made, no honest love could come to me. Suspicion kissed you when I did, never knew how I shouldn't say my love. It were a cold house I kept.
So she admits about herself she never felt good enough to be loved by him. And every time he kissed her, every time he said, I love you, she doubted it because she doubted herself. And at that moment, of course, Hathorn enters.
What you say, Proctor? The sun is soon up.
Proctor, his chest heaving, stares, turns to Elizabeth. She comes to him as though to plead, her voice quaking.
Do what you will, but let none be your judge. There be no higher judge under heaven than Proctor is. Forgive me, John. I never knew such goodness in the world.
And the goodness she sees in the world is him.
Aww, sappy.
She covers her
Ew.
face weeping, and Proctor turns from her to Hathorn. He is off the earth, his voice hollow.
I want my wife.
Electrified and surprised, he shouts
You'll confess yourself.
I will have my wife.
with a mystical tone.
God be praised. It is a providence.
He rushes out the door, and his voice is heard calling down the corridor so everyone in the jail can hear.
He will confess. Proctor will confess.
With a cry,
That's what. I have
Pro-
a question. So if these people just confess and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a wizard or I'm a witch or whatever, then they just won't kill them?
well, so then what happens is they have to go back to court and like discuss what they did as the devil's agent. And what they did will determine whether or not
Oh no.
they will be hung.
Wait, what's Elizabeth doing for you?
Because of the needle in Abby's belly.
So is she gonna get hung too?
After the
Not yet
baby.
because she's pregnant right now.
Yeah, after the baby.
They won't kill her innocent baby, but after she has it and
They'll kill
finishes
even the-
nursing, then yes,
Doesn't want
that
society.
would be the idea.
She's dead as a
Okay.
Okay, so Hawthorne's running down the jail yelling, Proctor's gonna confess! And John strides over to the door in as few steps as possible and calls after him.
Why do you cry?
In great pain, he turns back to Elizabeth,
It is evil. Is it not? It is evil.
and she's like a little scared now, weeping.
I cannot judge you, John. I cannot.
Then who will judge you?
Suddenly clasping his hands as if in prayer.
God in heaven, what is John Proctor? What is John Proctor?
He moves as an animal, and a fury is riding in him, a tantalized search.
I think it is honest. I think so. I have no sin.
As though she had denied this, he calls angrily at her.
Let her go like
Voices are heard in the hall, speaking together in suppressed excitement.
I am not your judge. I cannot be.
As though giving him release.
Do as you will. Do as you will.
Would you give them such a life? Would you ever give them this?
She cannot answer.
You would not. If tongues of fire
Sidney.
changing you, you would not. It is evil. Good. Then it is evil and I do it.
Okay, so again, all of us are sitting here thinking, just tell the stupid lie. But John Proctor just said he was going to lie, and even saying that has caused him emotional distress. Okay? So we go back to this, how committed they are to their morals. It's hard for us to grasp the level of commitment he feels to upholding his moral code. Okay? Hathorne enters with Danforth, and with them Cheever, Paris, and Hale. It is a businesslike, rapid entrance, as though the ice had been broken. Danforth, with great relief and gratitude.
Praise to God, ma'am. Praise to God. You shall be blessed in heaven for this.
Cheever has hurried to the bench with pen, ink, and paper, and Proctor watches him.
Now then, let us have it. Are you ready, Mr. Cheever?
Proctor with a cold horror at their efficiency, like they've just been standing out there waiting for this moment.
Why must it be written?
Why? For the good instructions of the village, mister. This we shall post upon the church door.
To Paris, urgently.
Where is the marshal?
Paris runs to the door and calls down.
Marshal, hurry.
Now then, mister. Will you speak slowly and direct to the point for Cheever's sake?
He is on record now, and is really dictating to Cheever, who writes.
Mr. Proctor, have you seen the devil in your life?
Proctor's jaw locks.
Come, man. There is light in the sky. The town waits at the scaffold. I would give out this news. Did you see the devil?
I did.
Praise God.
And when he come to you, what were his demands?
Proctor is silent. Danforth leads him on.
Did he bid you to do his work upon the earth?
He did.
And you bound yourself to his service?
Danforth turns as Rebecca Nurse enters with Herrick, helping to support her because she is, like 80, and she's been in jail for 3 months and can barely walk.
Come in, woman.
Brightening as she sees John. Are you her?
I'll be here.
John, you are well then, eh?
Proctor turns his face to the wall. He cannot bear to look at her.
Courage, man, courage. Let her witness your good example, that she may come to God herself. Now, hear it, goody nurse. Say on, Mr. Proctor, did you bind yourself with the devil's service?
Why, John?
Through his teeth, his face turned from Rebecca.
I did.
Now, woman, you surely see it profit nothing to keep this conspiracy any further. Will you confess yourself with them?
Oh, John, God send his mercy on you.
I say, will you confess yourself, goody nurse?
Why, it is a lie, it is a lie. Now may I damn myself? I cannot.
Mr. Proctor, when the devil came to you, did you see Rebecca Nurse and his company?
Proctor is silent,
Come, man, take courage. Did you ever see her with the devil?
barely able to be heard,
No.
which is just like everything else he said today.
No.
Danforth, now sensing trouble, glances at John and goes to the table, picks up a sheet, a list of the condemned people, probably who are going to hang today.
Did you ever see her sister, Mary
Easty.
with the devil?
No, I did not.
His eyes narrow on Proctor.
Did you ever see Martha Corey with the devil?
I did not.
Realizing slowly, putting down the sheet. You read that last one even though it's italic, that's a typo.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh, wait, what? Did you ever see anyone with the devil?
I did not.
So Proctor is willing to
Take it out on himself.
Take it out on himself, but he will not
Take it on everyone else.
sacrifice the good name of anyone else. Okay? Now you may be thinking to yourself, Martha Corey, for God's sake, all you have to do is say, yes, just if we can make it to sunrise. If we can just make it to sunrise. But she won't do it because it would be the only lie she has ever told. And she won't do it. Okay, Danforth.
Proctor, you mistake me. I am not empowered to trade your life for a lie. You have most certainly seen some person with the devil.
Proctor is silent.
Mr. Proctor, a score of people have already testified they saw this woman with the devil.
Then it is proved. Why must I say it?
Why must you say it? Why, you should rejoice to say if your soul is truly purged of any love for hell.
They think to go like saints. I like not to spoil their name.
In crying, inquiring, incredulous, which means like disbelieving.
Mr. Proctor, do you think they go like saints?
And he doesn't really answer. Walk around the question.
This woman never thought she'd done the devil's work.
Look you, sir, I think you mistake your duty here. It matters nothing what she thought. She is convicted of the unnatural murder of children, and you for sending your spirits out upon Mary Warren. Your soul alone is the issue here, Mister, and you will prove its whiteness, or you cannot live in a Christian county. Will you tell me now what person conspired with you in the devil's company?
He says nothing.
To your knowledge, was Rebecca Nurse ever?
I speak of my own sin, I cannot judge another.
Crying out with hatred.
I have no tongue for it.
Hail quickly to Danforth.
Hail.
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 Go ahead, Reese.
On hail.
Mm-hmm.
Excellency, it is enough he confess him, let him sign it, let him sign it.
Harris, feverishly.
It is a great service, sir. It is a weighty name. It will strike the village that Proctor confess. I beg you, let him sign it. The sun is up, Excellency.
Now remember yesterday we talked about why had Danforth refused to postpone?
Because it would make him look like a bad.
It would make him look bad. Now, here we have John Proctor confessing in front of a number of people, 2 judges, the minister in the town, the visiting minister, Cheever, the clerk of the court, Herrick, the town marshal. And is that good enough for Danforth? No. Not only will Danforth not accept his verbal testimony, he's making everything be recorded so they can put it up for everyone in town to see. Now he won't let him just confess himself. He also is requiring that he say someone else's name.
So did everyone have to confess another person, or did they just have to confess themselves?
So remember, okay, so part of the problem with this supernatural testimony is there's no one to, the people that you're blaming also don't have any proof that it did or didn't happen. There's no proof. All there is my word against your word. And Danforth has been the chosen one to decide whose word is worth accepting and whose is not.
And he's been chosen by God, right?
Yeah, because he's given such a high position in the town, in the state, really, the province, that he's one of the high judges from Boston. Okay, so who's choosing who lives or dies here? Danforth. And what evidence is he using to make these choices?
What people say.
All they have is what you say. Now, if this was real life court, Mrs. Ackles actually told me I need to watch it. Maybe I'll do that today. an episode from the Smithsonian Institute, like a historical episode, about how the Salem witch trials was the government's first cover-up.
What do you mean?
A conspiracy that the government has, since it happened, tried to cover up by erasing evidence.
So this actually happened?
Yes, this actually literally happened.
Like with the same people, right?
Yeah, so
Is
Cheever,
this one a true story?
Cheever is really the clerk in the town of Salem. He really was taking notes. Now, this exact moment basically happened in history. Okay?
Alright.
Okay, Danforth considers
Wait, so
what.
that actually was a John Proctor?
Yes. There actually was an Abigail. There actually was a Reverend Paris.
Did they find Abigail?
The only thing that is not historically accurate is there were actually dozens of girls who called out names, and there were like 7 or 8 judges, but that would get a little confusing as a play. So Arthur Miller condensed the girls into only 5: Mercy, Abigail, Susanna,
Yeah, when's this play going on?
Betty, and Ruth Putnam. And
When's this play
he
going?
changed the judges into only 2, but there really was a Judge Danforth and there really was a Judge Hathorne.
When we going to watch this play?
If I could find it, we would go. Okay, Danforth considers, then with dissatisfaction says,
Come then. Sign your testimony.
so he's decided to
Let him sign it.
let him sign it. To Cheever.
Give it to him.
Cheever goes to Proctor, the confession and a pen in his hand. Proctor does not look at it.
Come, man, sign it.
After glancing at the confession, he says,
You have all witnessed it. Is it enough?
You will not sign it?
You have all witnessed it. What more is needed?
Do you sport with me? You will sign your name, or it is no confession, mister.
his breast heaving with agonized breathing. Proctor now lays the paper down and signs his name.
Praise be to the Lord.
Proctor has just finished signing when Danforth reaches for the paper, but Proctor snatches it up first, and now a wild terror and boundless anger is rising in him. Perplexed, but politely sticks out his hand and says,
If you please, sir.
No.
as though Proctor did not understand.
Mr. Proctor, I must have.
No. I have signed it. You have seen it. It is done. You have no need for this.
Proctor, the village must have proof that.
Damn the village. I confess to God, and God has seen my name on it. It is enough.
No, sir, it is.
You came to save my soul, did you not? Here, I have confessed myself. It is enough.
You have not
I have confessed myself. Is there no good
Penitence.
penitence, but it be public? God does not need my name nailed upon the church. God see my name. God knows how black my sins are. It is enough.
Mr. Proctor.
You will not use me. I am no Sarah Good or Tituba. I am John Proctor. You will not use me. It is no part of salvation that you should use me.
I do not wish to.
I have 3 children. How may I teach them to walk like men in the world? And I sold my friends.
You have not sold your friends.
Beguile me not. I blacken all of them when this is nailed to the church. That very day they hang for silence.
Mr. Proctor, I must have good and legal proof that you.
You are the high court. Your word is good enough. Tell them I confess myself. Say Proctor broke his knees, and wept like a woman. Say what you will, but my name cannot.
It is the same, is it not? If I report it or you sign to it,
Proctor knows he's not making sense, but
No, it's not the same. What others say and what I sign to is not the same.
why? Do you mean to deny this confession when you are free?
I mean to deny nothing.
Then explain to me, Mr. Proctor, why do you not let?
with a cry of his whole soul,
Because it is my name. Because I cannot have another in my life. Because I lie inside myself to lie. Because I am not worth the dust on the feet of them that hate. How may I live without my name? I have given you my soul. Leave me my name.
oh, Okay, so John Proctor was willing to do everything, but
Big
now
ol'.
he will not
Sign it.
sign it. He will not let Dan Ford.
Hold up.
We will have
Hey, turn
it.
this-